All right, greetings everybody. It is another Monday and an exciting Monday to be sure. By the way, just for reference sake, I have the cat. Here he is. He's just happy dad's home. So anyway, let's talk a little bit as I get my camera readjusted here about the JP news. So we have a little bit of JP news, and interestingly, the thing that we have, I mean, we're doing a series of videos talking about like stuff that's coming to the game and everything like that. So that's all going to be continued, but of course we have the news day today for JP and Global, and don't worry, we'll get to Global in a very short amount of time. But first, JP's video. So as we all know, Final Fantasy IX is starting this week on JP, and yeah, by the looks of it, Globalers, you're just going to have to wait a little bit longer. Also, I want to say that it's interesting that in the artwork we see the Aoife tree. It's not the Leafa tree. I've made that mistake so many times growing up. I always thought it was called the Leafa tree, and it's actually called the Aoife tree. Anyway, so yeah, that's kind of interesting because we know that Kuja is one of the bosses here, and I know that Bramble and Terra is one of the locations where we'll be fighting. I am curious because since Zidane is wind, I'm assuming that there's going to be an earth elemental boss, which is a very small leap of faith to actually make. But I wonder if it's going to be like Soul Cage or someone, just because like usually there's two enemies that come from a Final Fantasy, or two major enemies. So I don't think it's going to be Lich, but I'm curious if it is Soul Cage, which you actually do fight in there, and I guess he could be considered or whatever. Continuing on, we do have a little bit more details. So yes, now I can 100% confirm that Zidane's ability is the same as Gernsback, who I actually think is very, very strong, and a very strong new spear-based job, so that is a major plus for him. What's interesting is that Zidane's main job seems to be saying a lot that he is going to have some defensive capabilities to keep him from dying. But it's interesting because Spy is very much an evasion-based job. So yeah, overall the net what his like hit is really going to focus on, or whether it's really flexible, it'd be interesting to see like when all of it's said and done. Looks like his master abilities reaction block and slash attack resistance penetration. So overall, yeah, DPS and very offensive character. Next up is Garnet. Garnet, we already basically knew all of this, so nothing really too terribly much to say here. I do believe like her magic is up by 5%, and incoming magic damage is reduced by 10%, which is curious. I'm kind of interested to see because she's very offensive. And hold on, the cat is having a He got lost and lonely at the same time. Videos are now just going to have unedited segments of cat crisis moments. My little boy here has been getting very, very panic attacked. I guess he's having a lot of stress in his life. Even though he has nothing to be stressed about. He went very limp there and almost fell right off of his tree. I'm just gonna have to take care of him in a minute. You okay? That's sorry, he didn't mean to. Anyway, alright, where was I? Ah, yes. I think that Garnet should be very interesting as an addition just generally to the game. And I'm very curious to see whether she got any more Espers in her kit, because she already has Bahamut and Golem. I'm kind of hoping she has a few more to really round out and make her kind of a weird little oddball that might just be generally good. But now we get to the major details in here. 5 minutes later, after crises have been averted, which is the first Holo Vision card. Now, of course, we don't have actual stats yet. We don't know how many shards it's going to take or anything like that for mastery, but we do know that we do have some actual details here, and they're supposed to have some kind of shimmer or glint across of them. And we don't know if they're going to have what the banners look like yet, so don't ask because we don't know, but more details hopefully very, very soon. So let's take a look at this VC. So the big thing here is that this is a 60 cost job-based VC. It is for spears, bows, daggers, and maces. So it could not be more tailored to Wynn's ultimate best parties. Even if it tried, like seriously, this is exactly what Wynn wants with characters such as Sadali and Flyglassy and Lysol and Zidane too. So that's all really good if I had to check something for another crisis. But bows are potentially interested in this. Like this could work for dark, for some things. It could work for water for some things. It could work for a bunch of different things like earth element too. So I think that this VC looks really nice, but then we have to get into what you actually get for this. So the unit that has it equipped will have defense penetration rate up and accuracy up. And the big thing, of course, with Holo VCs is the party ability. So first off, we're looking at elemental chain resistance on the party ability. We're looking at critical rate up for the party ability. And we're looking at the granted, for maxing out this, we're getting single attack resistance. So that's essentially what you can expect for this vision card. What's also curious is that we know a little bit more. So critical damage will be a bonus for quest type maps only, not any other type of maps, or not arena, not PvP, not anything else, just quests will have critical damage up. So if you're doing quests, you and your characters can have this, they will get that kind of bonus. There's also the overall bonus for quests of 5% HP increase and 3% for, what is it, AP, I want to say, initial AP up of 3%. And nothing about this VC, at least initially, screams that this is a absolute must-have for every single person out there. Really, the thing that this seems like to me is just a nice little bonus. This isn't like the PvP or, well, just the PvP section yet. So the initial VC seems pretty mild, maybe just more for new players who would like a little bit of a boost up so they can do the events earlier. Or a little more soundly, but for everyone else, I'd say that this VC is looking, kind of nice. But is it anything that's going to absolutely turn the meta on its head? Not at all. This one doesn't affect PvP at all, but future ones probably will. And just a reminder for people how these VCs will work. Once you have them fully mastered, they do have an initial or an effect that is a bonus to the entire party, whether the VC is equipped or not. So that is a big thing to remember, but nothing about this VC, at least now, really is scaring me too terribly. The FF9 event will be taking place. We'll have, of course, the 2 weapons for the 2 new characters coming out. And that's actually it. There is a new map which focuses on Dark and Earth, which is very curious to me. It also focuses around other weapons, and a few other things, but the big thing is there's nothing here for wind, which is curious to me, just the way that they're choosing to actually do this. I don't know if it has any deeper meaning, but yeah, curious to say the least. The other thing that I think is particularly interesting is that another story characters are not included in this update. There is no Lilith's brother, Volk, I want to say his name is, if I remember correctly. Volk is not in here anywhere, and I don't know why. Like, I'm not going to say that this month isn't already jam-packed with content, with FF9 and the new Helena and the anniversary event and all of that stuff and all the VCs that are coming and everything like that. But it is weird that this is, I think, the first time that we've had this where the another story character just didn't come out 2 weeks after on JP. And I don't know if it's just because they have lost confidence that he's going to be really big, or like in terms of like just popularity, or whether or not it's just overcrowding. But for whatever reason, there's no another story character here, and I don't know when the next time we're going to. So keep that in mind if you're going to be asking. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. Of course, after being what feels like a little bit burned by Squall, I'm a little cautiously, I'm going to say that I am very, very cautiously optimistic about Zidane. It's a strong character and a strong element that will be able to also hunt Earth teams for a good amount of time. There's very little doubt in my mind that it will probably be generally just good, but will he actually be what Sephiroth was last year, where it really pushed the element further? Have to wait and see. And last but not least, I think Garnet and the Holo VC are just generally good. But I'm just kind of waiting for them to come out so we can really dig into all the details. So anyway, that is everything for this video. In the next video, we'll be taking a look at Globals Week and continuing on from there. See ya.